Today I'm going to talk about a Disney Channel show from the mid-2010s that few people even remember. This is a show that lasted for 116 episodes, nominated for multiple awards, including multiple nominations at the Daytime Emmys, received critical praise by parent groups during its original run, and somehow taken out Old Yeller style by the Mouse House. Join me and my fellow collaborator, Victory Star Productions, as we talk about the production history and legacy of one of the most underrated shows in television history. A show that, at its core, is something that should bring people together, not divide them even more. One show that was given a lot of support from its network, yet the show was later taken out Old Yeller style. Why did this happen? And was there any way to prevent it from getting canceled? Let's open the books and examine the curious case of the puppy dog.
Wait a minute, wrong title.
And examine the greatest Disney Junior show you've never seen, Puppy Dog Pals. Now, before we can talk about this show, let me talk about the company behind this show.
Canary Animation, founded in 2007 by industry veterans Richard Mathis and Camilo Italia, is an American animation studio located in Hollywood, which, mostly based on their resume, has mostly worked with the Walt Disney Company since their inception, animating for the likes of Sher Kali's Wild West, Miles from Tomorrowland, which ironically premiered the same year as Disney's Tomorrowland film, The Rocketeer, inspired by a superhero that Disney had the rights to prior to the Marvel acquisition, Mira, Royal Detective, The Chicken Squad, Popstruction, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, and the less we talk about how Ariel is based on the continuity of the 2023 live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, the better.
Do you think that introduction about the studio kind of went out of hand?
Yeah, let's just get to the production history of this show. In my opinion, the 2010s were a golden era for preschool/educational cartoons. Poppy Cat, Bluey, The Cat Had No Lab About That, Nature Cat, Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Pip Ahoy, Wild Kratts, Ray Jack Go, Let's Go Luna, the list goes on. But of course, this is the same decade that Paw Patrol came to the scene, thanks to the help of British television producer Keith Chapman of Bob the Builder fame and Spin Master of the Bakugan Battle Brawler franchise. The pup from Adventure Bay eventually became a juggernaut for Nick Jr. to the point of eclipsing the ratings and popularity of what was then and the block SpongeBob SquarePants, Dora the Explorer, as that show is going through a viewership, ratings, and especially quality low, following its switch to HD production in Season 7. And because of this, imitators came flooding in. As the success of Paw Patrol continued to grow by the mid-2010s, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which had basically canceled 5 shows in 5 years, was also losing interest, ending with its final episode prior to the Disney Plus revival on November 6, 2016. So this led to Disney trying to get new ideas for the shows for the still going strong Disney Junior by focusing more on creative storytelling rather than trying to let the viewers have the attention span of somebody that's zooted on Instagram Reels to introduce the new generation of shows to the network. Enter Canadian comedian and actor Harlan Williams. Prior to Puppy Dog Pals, he was in a previous Disney production where he voiced Carl in the 2007 film Meet the Robinsons, which had a message of keep moving forward. More on that later. So when he was brought on by Disney sometime around the mid-2010s to create a show that would not only be Disney's Paw Patrol, kinda, but to certain viewers, distinct from the pups of Adventure Bay. Harlan Vision is a series that follows two fun-loving pug brothers on their hilarious adventures and illuminating the pup similarities and differences while demonstrating policy lessons about friendship, problem-solving, collaboration, creativity, and adventure with not only a dream team of well-known actors in the Los Angeles area, but a musical number in each single 1-minute episode composed by Andy Beam, the same guy that did the music to both Wander Over Yonder and the 2018 Muppet Babies reboot for Disney, and another show for Craig McCracken, Kid Cosmic on Netflix, who also did the Puppy Dog Pals background score and its incredible theme song, which is a pretty good song to dance to. With enough support from Walt Disney's then CEO at the time, Bob Iger, and the president of Disney's television division, Brent Sherwood, the show would get picked up by the Disney Channel to air on their preschool block, Disney Junior. Then, Harlan's passion project, Puppy Dog Pals, originally titled Puppy Dog Tale, debuted on Disney Junior on April 14th, 2017, and was a Pugtastic success when it debuted.
The show begins with an intro that basically explains what the show is all about in around 60 seconds, featuring an incredible and iconic theme song for anyone who's around to watch this show. The main cast includes Bingo, a blackish-grayish pug with a blue lightning collar who is more mature than his twin brother Roby, and is always ready to go on missions with his brother to help someone in need. Roby, a fawn pug with a red collar with a gold bone on it, while he isn't as smart as Bingo, he is still very silly. He is Bingo's twin birthday brother, but Bingo is older than Roly, as clarified in season 1. Roly loves to chew on everything he can find, and it's a bad habit. Then there's my favorite character, Hissy, a cynical purple tabby cat wearing a bow who cares for Bingo and Roly like a big sister. She's mostly seen relaxing during the series 1, but in some episodes, she ends up going along with Bingo and Roly on missions and antics. She, along with Cupcake, is the only one with an unnatural fur color. Their owner, Bob, works as an industrial designer/product designer and is also the inventor of art. He is voiced by none other than SpongeBob SquarePants himself. No, seriously, same voice actor. He is a robotic dog that was updated by Bob multiple times throughout the series run, and his victory star is favorite part of the show. He always refers to himself in the third person in every episode, with the exception of Go Dog Go and how Arf got his voice back. Also, there's a fish named Olivia, but she's more of a supporting character, much like the recurring characters from season 1, like Cupcake and Rufus. Basically, this show is a version of Bulk and Skull from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
But of course, every anime show that lasts for 100 plus episodes needs adding new locations and characters every time the series get renewed for additional seasons. Season 2 introduced Kia, a new Shiba Inu puppy owned by Bob's next door neighbors. Kia also becomes close friends with Bingo, Roly, and Hit ever since she met them. Her best friend is Loey, a black and white toddler King Charles Spaniel female puppy wearing an aqua green cover whose back legs are paralyzed, and she then becomes Bingo and Roly's sister at the end of season 4. Loey is owned by Anna, who is the owner of the puppy play care, which that location was introduced in season 3, and she is Bob's love interest and later wife. Season 4, which had so many romantic moments, introduced Augie and Mo, two young pups that were recurring characters after their debut. And Season 5 introduced the mission students, Leo, Buster, Roxy, and Nougat.
And of course, in Season 6, it would have introduced Timmy, Oliver, Drew, and Timothy. If that season was ever made!
Now, even though I'm a Paw Patrol and Bluey kind of guy who also likes Puppy Dog Pals as much as these shows, I had to spill the beans out. Puppy Dog Pals, much like with other underrated shows that need more attention like Timothy Goes to School, Redwall, Danger Rangers, Dragon, Animalia, Special Agent Oso, Poppy Cat, Pippa Hoy, Whisker Haven, Nature Cat, The Creature Cases, Gigantosaurus, Bunny Builders, and Carl the Lecter, among others, is a one-of-a-kind show. This even went into production of this show. Thanks to having a big company like Disney and big names in the LA area animation industry work on the show, Harlan Williams had a lot of help with making his passion project. So many people directed multiple episodes during the show's run, not to mention how many notable VAs this show has. We got Isaac Ryan Brown and Samuel Vilango as Bingo and Roller respectively, Jessica DeCeo as Hissy, Jill Nelson as Kia, Chris Summers as Anna, Jill Taylor as Cupcake, Leslie David Baker as Rufus, Patrick Warburton as Captain Dog, making another noticeable role in his history with Disney, Gillespie Eisenberg as Chloe, and even SpongeBob SquarePants himself, Tom Kenny as Arf. The only outlier in the voice cast, in my opinion, is the show's creator, Canadian comedian Harlan Williams as Bob. Now, despite the fact that Harlan only started his voice acting career in 1997, Harlan has a more bigger role in live action, starting his career doing stand-up comedy in Canada in the 80s before moving to Los Angeles in the 90s to start his live-action acting career with Dumb and Dumber. And don't worry, he's still doing voice acting. Lastly is the music to the show, and nobody could do it better than series composer Annie Bean. But then again, do you expect anything more from the same guy who composed it, Wander Over Yonder?
With that out of the way, how well did this show do? Well, to call anything other than a success is basically saying that you probably don't have that much taste in children's television. Puppy Dog Pals was a home run out of the park, receiving critical praise from parents. Emily Ashby of Common Sense Media gave the series a rating of 3 out of 5 stars, despite me wanting someone on CSM to give it 5 out of 5 stars. At least she complimented the presence of positive messages and role models, citing friendship and cooperation. Marissa Lascala of American lifestyle media brand Good Housekeeping included the show in their 60 Best Kids TV Shows and Family Series of all time.
The series receives a lot of merchandise, several games on the now-defunct Disney Now service, as well as only 2 DVDs. Sure, I get why. The entire series is fully available to watch on Disney Plus, which is the only way to watch it legally outside of buying the episode digitally on iTunes, but at least Puppy Dog Pals got several nominations at the Daytime Emmy Awards, and given how many locations the pugs travel around the world in the show, it was obviously an international success on par with many other Disney Channel shows like Phineas and Ferb or Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
With a lot of praise, awards, and merchandise, you think that Puppy Dog Pals would dethrone the popularity of other shows on Disney Junior when it was on the air, right?
But to quote a series of unfortunate events, that's not how the story goes.
By now, you're probably wondering why I call this an in-depth analysis video, the greatest Disney Junior show you've never seen. If you look on YouTube, you mostly get rant videos on this show saying, this is worse than... But there's also people such as myself thinking, man, this was a good show. Why didn't the network give it a lot of attention? Why did it get only 5 seasons? 2 words. Disney Junior.
Yes, as previously stated, Puppy Dog Pals originally aired on Disney Junior. And if you have been previously living under a rock or haven't been on TV shows before, Disney Channel has this trend related to how they treat their new preschool shows since 2006, which I like to call the Clubhouse standard. You see, if a new show on Disney Junior isn't a hit, Disney Channel would come in and screw up the show with our good old friend, executive meddling. And unless you're Bluey, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Winnie the Pooh, or based on a big Disney property like Spy and His Amazing Friends, Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, and that upcoming Stewie Griffin-focused Family Guy spin-off for Disney Junior that's currently in the works, then you're basically screwed by the network. And in the case of Puppy Dog Pals, they were taking out old Yellowstone! Yeehaw! First of all, Disney Channel aired many of the episodes out of production order. Sometimes for a holiday or a special event on the channel, or mostly because some episodes are unfinished and are currently being animated overseas. The reason why episodic shows like SpongeBob SquarePants, Kim Possible, Teen Titans Go, The Simpsons, Dan Vs., and heck even preschool shows like Nature Cat Employee and heck even Paw Patrol do well with this format is because you can basically start at any episode and can rinse and repeat them across a calendar year. This is the reason why episodic comedies like SpongeBob and Dan Vs. or shows with a insert something of the week are formats that are so easy that you can basically take the cast of characters into any situation. Oh sure, Puppy Dog Pals didn't have any issues with being aired out of order during season 1, but when Disney Channel saw the ratings of the show and added in new characters to boost the show's ratings on the network, this was when the out of order airing problems started happening, where some episodes in seasons 2 through 4 that don't have new characters from those seasons are being aired after they were introduced. Not to mention that when season 3 started airing, Disney basically gave up on giving most of their shows, especially shows that aren't tied to a pre-established brand, a physical release in favor of just dumping the entire season on Disney Plus, which of course led to the new CEO of Disney upon the launch of Disney Plus, Bob Voldemort, to shut down many of the international Disney channels and Disney Junior channels, leading to most of the world having to wait for an entire season to get added to Disney Plus to watch new episodes in the order that they were aired on Disney Channel US instead of the production order. And given how streaming numbers are now the new way for companies to see what shows should get cancelled or, even worse, get written off for taxes, I'm surprised that Puppy Dog Pals managed to survive that long. But of course, all shows have to come to an end, and Puppy Dog Pals was eventually taken out by Disney like Old Yeller. Yup, the series was cancelled after 5 seasons on the air. I'm surprised Disney Channel didn't cancel it after airing only 6 out of the 25 episodes of season 1. If that were to happen, Puppy Dog Pals would have become the Fully Coley of American animation, just as that show was getting more episodes thanks to Adult Swim. But when Puppy Dog Pals was cancelled after season 5, it basically had more stories to tell and probably have more characters to be added if Disney wanted to make more seasons. With the show's series finale, Here's Looking at You, Kid, being a jumping off point for new stories, and thank God it didn't end off on a cliffhanger. Am I right, Disney Channel? But of course, Disney had a replacement show for whenever Puppy Dog Pals end, and that being the Super Kitties from Silvergate Media of Octonauts and Creature Cases fame. The latter coming soon to a Vicky Star production video whenever I have time to make one. Now you're probably wondering why the Disney Channel didn't give this more attention and cancel it after season 5. Well, I have 2 reasons. My first theory is this has to be related to Star Wars. Look, I get it. Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures premiered the same year Puppy Dog Pals ended, but I don't think it was the actual reason why it was cancelled, because I have more money on my second theory on why Puppy Dog Pals was cancelled. This has something to do with Bluey. don't get me wrong, Bluey is a pretty good show. Oh, and it is one of my favorites. But my only problem, well, at least for this video, is because when Bluey came to the US on Disney Channel, Puppy Dog Pals started not getting loved by Disney when season 3 began airing. And keep in mind that season 3 was airing during bits and pieces of the COVID-19 pandemic, which might have played a role in impacting the show's production and airing order. Never mind the fact that Disney also accrued the treatment of special notes, so Lion Guard and Whisker Haven, all under Bob Iger's first tenure as CEO of the Walt Disney Company. So, I technically blame Bluey for this, but of course, with Bob Iger being Bob Iger, we may never know why was Puppy Dog Pals cancelled by Disney.
After an unceremonious end to Puppy Dog Pals just stopped and just become one of the shows that Disney Plus has in their library as filler. It never received any more DVD releases, which was probably due to Disney Plus. Digital releases of the show on iTunes and Amazon, and the show is technically considered done when Disney didn't give the show any words about a season renewal when Bob Chapek was still in office at Disney in 2022, and there were other shows like Bluey, Mickey Mouse Funhouse, and shows based on properties that Disney acquired during Bob Iger's first tenure as CEO of the Walt Disney Company that dominated the network and were more of a priority. Puppy Dog Pals just fell into the Disney vault without a trace. You may think that that is the end of the story, but it's not. Here's how the story allegedly goes. Now we will discuss this show's fanbase. Following Puppy Dog Pals' end, I have become someone who is a big fanatic of the show, who always wanted to have more episodes of the show. I, alongside a couple of friends, created our own Puppy Dog Pals original characters, which all have yet to be rendered in third dimension since I'm new to Blender. On Discord, I created a group chat discussing ideas for brand new episodes. And of course, I had to mention the show's group on DeviantArt named Puppy Dog Pals Club that I created, which features artwork, fanfics, and other good stuff related to the show in the attempt to bring more exposure to it, and not just let it be something that people who still use Go Animate uses it as ranting and Go flying material. Over time, I started collecting various Puppy Dog Pals merchandise, including plushes, discs, DVDs, cards, toys, and books. I also wanted to make some more characters, including our own original characters, and more apps. I even made an album of my favorite Puppy Dog Pals character, Pissy. You can go check out the album for yourselves. Link in the description. As you can see here, we even contacted the company RoboSyn to produce an actual robot of art. And I also want there to be a Puppy Dog Pals board game, and we are also making fan-made DVDs of the show. Many of these we will soon showcase, and we currently have a Puppy Dog Pals movie that is currently being worked on. We had such good intentions when we started, and still have so much potential to really share the world of Puppy Dog Pals with our fans. Puppy Dog Pals, at its core, is something that should bring people together, not divide them even more. Puppy Dog Pals has had an incredibly rough journey, always seeming to hit turmoil from every step of the way.
It feels like this show is always being the underdog, or trying to be the greatest show of all time that nobody has seen before, even though that phrase has been used before. Keep in mind, Puppy Dog Pals was both adored and screwed by the network at the same time. Plus, when I met Timothy Powell on DeviantArt, that was when I was introduced to that show that really needs more attention from Disney rather than a lineup of live-action remakes. In a way, this Rise and Fall story's message is the famous line that Walt Disney said in his life that has been quoted a lot even after his passing and was featured in Meet the Robinsons, a film that ironically Hiram Williams was in. We keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious. Curiosity keeps leading us down to new paths. In this quote alone, he emphasized the importance of looking ahead and maintaining curiosity. That's what we all do in our lives. Heck, I'm working on a cartoon pitch that will one day become a full series sometime in the future. And many of the crew members who worked on Puppy Dog Pals have also worked on some very well-known and recognizable works, even for Disney. As Steve Coyle, the series executive producer for the first 4 seasons, will be working on Marvel's Iron Man and Amazing Friends this summer, which is understandable considering how he has mostly worked on superhero-related material. Heck, one of the directors of the show, Dan Fawcett, was a storyboard artist / director on Lunatics Unleashed, directing 10 episodes across both seasons. But at the end of the day, we all have to keep moving forward, and maybe someday the Puppy Dog Pals will keep moving forward. Happy 8th anniversary, Puppy Dog Pals, and thanks for watching. Oh, and if you're watching this, Hiram Williams, me and Timmy need to talk with you. We'll be patient and waiting.